LeBron's going nowhere. He is going nowhere. I know this is what he likes to do. He's done this before. He was at the ESPY Awards with his family. As his family said, he was the greatest basketball player to ever play the game. And everybody forgets what Michael Jordan was and what he created for LeBron James and Kobe Bryant and all the greats, as everybody really compared to Michael Jordan. The fact here is LeBron James is out for himself. We all know what LeBron James likes to do. He likes to be the center of attention. He goes up there at the press conference, he says his piece, and then he says, I'm unsure about my future. He absolutely is sure about his future. The only reason why they made that move for a guy like Luka Doncic was to give LeBron James a chance to add another superstar and go on another run, maybe for one or maybe even two championships. The fact is, they just didn't show up in that series. I think Luka Doncic wasn't 100% healthy in the series. You can see it in his game. This is a guy that averages over 33 points a game and 7 rebounds and about 8 assists in practically every single playoff game of his career. And throughout this series, he just wasn't really up to par. Now, obviously, J.J. Redick is a different coach. This is a different team than the Dallas Mavericks. All the offense in Dallas ran through him. In this offense, it ran through LeBron and Luka Doncic. And again, Luka's got to figure out who he is. What is his identity with the Lakers? I was very surprised they lost in 5 games. If they were going to lose, I thought it was going to definitely be in 7 games. But again, we all understand who Anthony Edwards is. He calls himself the truth. We understand how talented he is. He's a superstar player. He doesn't want to be the face of the NBA, as he's come out and said. But he is one of the faces of Team USA basketball. We understand the talent he is. Some people compare his skill to a Michael Jordan. I don't know if you can actually compare him to Michael Jordan, but his acrobatics and what he does on a basketball court is sensational. He's fun to watch. Rudy Gobert, this could have been his best game of his career. I don't think you...
that's hands down, without a doubt.
Yeah, I've never seen Rudy Gobert put up the numbers in a playoff game, 27 points and 24 rebounds. Now, I've seen him put up kind of these numbers in a regular season, but against subpar teams. When you're playing a Lakers team that made it to the playoffs, we're a number 3 seed, and we're one of the best teams in the Western Conference all season, to put up those kind of numbers the way he did was very impressive. Now, is he going to do it in the next series? Who knows? The question is this team different than they were last year? They obviously had Karl Anthony Towns. Now they have a little bit more depth, I would say, with Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. Dante's actually playing pretty good basketball over the last couple of weeks, and throughout this playoff series, he's been pretty good. Off the bench, he's added a little bit of spice, and that's something that the Knicks are missing in this series. They need that spice. They need that shooting type, a guy that really has that cold, that cold stuff going through his veins. I say cold stuff because I could say hot stuff, and, Speedy might be thinking of something else. But I honestly believe that the Lakers need to figure things out in the offseason. I don't believe LeBron James is retiring, but they need that other guy. They need a third type of player that's going to give you about 17, 18 points off the bench if need be, or maybe a starter that can play with Luka and run the offense through Luka Doncic with LeBron James.
You don't think that's Austin Reeves?
I'm sorry? No. I think Austin Reeves is going to get traded. I think he's going to be a trade piece. A lot of teams like Austin Reeves. I know that the Knicks were very interested in Austin Reeves last season, and even at the trade deadline, there were stories coming out that the Knicks were trying to make a move with the Lakers. But I think that will happen in the offseason. There are quite a few teams. I have heard that Giannis might become available now that they lost. And I'm not saying Giannis is going to the Lakers, because they're going to have to give up a lot, and they're going to have to he's going to have to opt out of his contract and take less to go to the Lakers. I think there are quite a few other teams that might be interested in a guy like Giannis, but the Lakers need to find the other guy. And LeBron James is definitely not going to retire, because he doesn't want to retire at least with one championship off of Kobe and 2 championships off of Michael Jordan. He wants to be compared to Kobe or even Michael Jordan. He has to win a total of 5 or 6 championships to be compared to any one of those guys. Now, he is not Michael Jordan. There's no question that he isn't. But I think LeBron believes that he has something left in him. I don't think he could play the defense he once could, but I still think he can give you that 24, 25 points. He's going to give you that 7 to 6 rebounds and maybe 8 assists if he actually plays the point. So there's a lot of questions for the Lakers, and what do they do with J.J. Redick? Do they bring J.J. Redick back? I know everybody sits here and says, well, J.J. Redick had a great season. But when it came down to the nitty and the gritty in the playoffs, J.J. Redick didn't call the right timeouts. He couldn't match up his team against a Timberwolves team that wasn't as good all season long as they were last year. This is a Timberwolves team that went all the way to the Western Conference Finals. They beat the champion, the Nuggets, last year, and a lot of people thought they were going to knock off Dallas. And then Luka obviously matched up so very well against Anthony Edwards last year. You would have thought that this would have been a back and forth series against Anthony Edwards, and it wasn't even close. The best player on the court throughout this series was no other than Anthony Edwards. The question is this Timberwolves team good enough to go all the way through the Western Conference? As we've seen, the Nuggets, the Clippers are still fighting to get through the next round, and then the Golden State Warriors and OKC. And right now, whoever wins, and if I'm not mistaken, whoever wins this Golden State Rocket series would be playing the Timberwolves. Yep. And then the Timberwolves, and I think this might be the easiest the position we've seen the Timberwolves go all the way to the Western Conference, because I think they're better than the Rockets and they're better than the Golden State Warriors. Jimmy Buckets is not 100% healthy, and I think right now the Timberwolves are playing their best basketball. They're the healthiest they've ever been throughout the season, and they can make a run. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if the Timberwolves go all the way to the finals this year, because I just think the matchups, the way it's matched up for them throughout the playoffs, who do they have to go through? OKC? I don't think the Clippers, I don't think the Nuggets are going to beat OKC as what we've seen so far in the playoffs. I do believe the Timberwolves match up very, very well against OKC with the athletic ability. And if Anthony Edwards can do what he did against the Lakers, and Rudy Gobert could give you the numbers that he was giving you in this series, why not? Why couldn't they beat the OKC Thunder? So it's a lot of questions. I love what I see with Anthony Edwards, and even after the game, his personality, and he is so sprung on what people said about this team and himself throughout the season. Remember, they were a 6th seed. Last year, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they were a 3rd seed in the playoffs. So they didn't like the way they were mistreated and the way everybody thought that the Lakers, like yours truly, were going to pulverize them in this series. So congratulations to the Timberwolves. It was a fun series to watch, for them at least.